Thank you for watching. So today is Consulting June. Every Friday from 5:30 to 6, we're here to talk about the college-related issues and concerns and Q&As. And I'm also will share some of the experiences regarding my students and also my past working experiences. Okay, I'm June. Let's talk about SAT 2, which is the SAT subject test. That's today's topic. Well, these days, a lot of people and a lot of students and parents, and they keep asking me about, should I take SAT subject and how many SAT subjects should I take? Which school evaluate SAT subject tests and which are not? And when they talk about required or recommended, so what should I, think about it and how is the strategy works? And then of course, they ask me like, oh, if I take like all the SAT subject test and whether I can get a full score, I cannot get a full score, does it matter? Or, so many different questions. So today we're going to talk about it in details, and then probably you will have a new understanding about the SAT subject test, okay? Well, the thing is, we know like this is like application season now, and every student want to give the best score and the best performance and all the high GPAs and maybe full score for all the tests. Well, that will be ideal case. But most of the cases, like you have to balance the time and you have to make sure you understand about the strategy and you understand about the school requirement and like your energy and your time is limited. You can't get all of them. But which one to take? You must know some of the strategy, okay? So first, we want to talk about what kind of test and whether it is important or not. So we know the college that required SAT subjects, right? But the thing is like they give you the different requirement. For example, if you look into the 2019 and 2020, the policies of each schools, and you can see like they divided into the 4 different categories. The first one is called required. So when a school say they require SAT subject test, that means you have to take SAT subject no matter what, okay? So in a very few cases, you see the college accepted like, ACT, SAT, and then they only ask you 1 or 2. But most of the schools, they accept more than 2, okay? So sometimes more. So please always check your college to see how many subject tests that they require. So for the required colleges. Okay, so another one is called a recommended, okay? So that's a little tricky way, okay? When the college say like, hey, we are not requiring the SAT subject test, but we recommend you to take it. So that's very vague. How can we understand? Well, the thing is, the college basically threw the ball to you, so it leaves the decision up to you whether or not to take the SAT subject. Well, the thing is, for this situation, if you can achieve the high score or you can get a full score, that's okay. Or you want to make up for your low SAT score, that would be a good idea to take the SAT subject. But if you're not really sure, or your SAT is still struggle, or you can't really get like high score in SAT or ACT, well, in this situation, I suggest you to focus on your SAT, not your SAT subject. Okay, so the college will likely appreciate that you took the extra challenge, but the important thing is you have to prove like you are good at it. If you're not really good at it and you take it and then your score is not really good, that basically like you're willing to show your disadvantages. Okay, that's not a good idea. Okay, so the other part is called considered. So when a college say like, oh, we don't require SAT subject, we don't recommend you to take the subject, but we consider your SAT subject. Consider means that a college do not necessarily expect you to take the SAT subject, which means you submit it or you don't submit it, that's fine. But they will factor them if you decided to send them. What that mean, okay? That means, oh, we are open to all kind of like score and material. You just submit whatever you want. It's more like additional way, right? It's like supplemental material. So I would say if you have a real interest in a particular subject, or you can get a full score, again, if you can take it and you submit it, that won't harm. Actually, it can help. So that's why for this situation, you want to take it. based on the same regulations of the recommendation one, okay? So the last part, I mean, that's not like really many schools do. And some of the schools, they just give you like alternative options, which means the colleges have kind of like a different or unique policy that may be like test flexible, usually related to the majors like art, like music or stuff like that. So most of schools belongs to the required and recommended or considered, okay? So if you look at the like Ivy schools, for example, you look at the, let's take a Brown, for example. So Brown University, so this year's, I don't know why, many students, they're really interested in the Brown University, okay? So Brown University is recommended, okay? So this kind of recommended and the majors, and that make my students say like, oh, if you want to apply Brown University, go for it, and please make sure to take your SAT subject and present a good score. Okay, so this kind of situation, you want to take it because it's recommended. Let's take another one. For example, another one is not Ivy, but it's really top schools. It's called a California Institute of the Technology. That's required, okay? So they require specific tests like SAT subject test, math level 2, and one other SAT subject test in the science. And so you can choose any one of them that you are good at. The other part like of the schools that, for example, CMU, that's like recommended for most of the programs, but not request. Again, if you really want to join those kind of, candidates for those competitive schools, you'd better take it. Okay, so this year's, I would say Columbia University is kind of like really soft. They give a soft attitude because they say the subject test is like considered. Like what I said, if you really want to join the competitive, like the competitive, like the candidates, you'd better just offer a strong academic background. So I was talking with some of the admission officer these days, and I got also like notification, and I want to share a little bit with you guys. So one of our counselors shared her opinion. So she said like, oh, these days, all of the Asian students, they took the SAT subjects, and then sometimes they take like many subjects. For example, we got students take 8 or more than 8. So does that mean like this is good? Well, the thing is, you don't really want to go too far about it, because most of the people, they believe like you don't want to look like, try too hard. You still want to make sense, right? You don't want to be like, oh, this person is like go crazy for the standardized test, right? That doesn't make sense. So you want to calm down. You want to choose the related one to your major, to your interest, and plus you want to get a high score as much as you can. And then we can talk about like, oh, what is a strategy and how to get to the full score. It depends on your interest. And also for the most of the students, my recommendation is you don't really want to, take the extra class for SAT subject, because SAT subject is supposed to be easier than the APs, right? So we know AP is more like a college level test, and SAT subject is more like a high school level test. So if you can take the SAT subject and you still need to have extra classes to prepare for that, which means maybe you're not really good at it, or maybe you're not really strong. So in that situation, you want to reconsider about taking it. Okay, so that's about SAT subject and what we think and when you need to prepare for that. If you want to know more information, you can always check our blog. So for our website on 7EDU website, or you can Google 7EDU, okay? The 7, number 7, and the EDU. It's short for 7 Education. So if you Google 7EDU, you can find our website, and you can see on the website, there is a blog section. And on the blog section, we provide you a lot of information and more details about which school they provide requested information about SAT subject, which one is recommended. And we try to do like a comprehensive research and present you guys as much information as we can, okay? All right, so if you have any question regarding the SAT subject test, and you can also text me or leave the message in the chat box so I can answer your question. And now we can talk about, for the SAT subject, how to choose which one is considered to be easier, which one is considered to be harder. Well, the thing is, first question I want to answer is like, which test is easier? Like what I said before, all the SAT subject can be easier than is easier than the AP test because it belongs to the high school level. The thing is, when you prepare for SAT subject, I do have some like useful material to prepare. You have to do a little bit of practice, and then you can just go to a test. So most likely, my students, I suggest them to take like at least 5 mock tests before the test day. So if you're really good at math and you think like, oh, I don't need to prepare anything, I just go for it because I'm really good at math. Well, that's not really right, because you don't want to overestimate yourself, right? You want to make sure you get a good score, because SAT subject is try to show your academic confidence. That means you need to get high score no matter what. And plus, if you're Asian students, you have to take the you have to go to the high end, right? Because most of Asian students get more than 750. So if it's like 750 above, that will consider to be a good score. All right, if not, just don't worry about that, okay? So just don't take it. Another part is these days, when it's college application season starts, some of students, they focus on the essay writing. Plus, they still consider about taking more tests at this moment to boost their academic background. Well, my answer is no, don't do that, because normally most students finish their subject test in the August, right? So if you want to still take more tests right now, I would say that's kind of like try too hard. And plus, it will affect your application because you want to spend most of your energy on the essay writing, is not on the test anymore. So I think the best way to focus on is your schoolwork, is your GPA still have to maintain in the high level. And plus, you have to spend the time on your essay, because writing a touching essay is most important at this present. And also, we're going to have a seminar on site talk about how to get, how to get a good essay and how to write a good essay, how to brainstorm in a good story on the September 28th on site. It's on the address is 10050 Bob Road in the Cupertino. So if you have time, please check it out, and we can just talk more about it on site when we, meet face to face. Another part is, if your essay doesn't really have a lot of like details or like touching stories, and you want to figure out what to do, so there's also some solutions we find out and we summarize together, put in the blog. Please read the article. It's not only one of parents. A lot of parents told me the articles that we wrote about the essays, very helpful, very helpful. Okay, please go to our website to check the blog. Okay, you can get an inspiration. You can get a lot of different kind of like trigger the feeling, okay, based on the story we told, okay? So there is one question in asking, can you post all of these videos on the YouTube? Because I was looking at them and some of them were not there. So can you post them? Well, okay, that's a very good suggestion. But the thing is, we want more people to interact with me at the same time. Like, so we want to go for the live part. So you want to go for the live, so please join me every Friday, 5:30 to 6, so we can talk about face-to-face and kind of like online face-to-face. I want this kind of, communication to be live. I think that would be very helpful. Before we were thinking about like record it and post on the YouTube, but many of parents told me like, oh, it's hard to ask a question and also it's hard to interact with me. So I decided to make it be live. So if you really want to join every Friday, 5:30 to 6, please join me. If you have like different time suggestion, please also leave a message to us so we can maybe adjust the time or maybe make it to be more frequently. Like what I said, I have been doing the Consulting June for almost, I think it's like half a year, I think. So I really want this way to help many students as much as I can, because I know the social media is the best way to reach out to students. Well, I think this started from one of the parents told me like, oh, can you talk something in English so I can show my kids, because my kids is kind of like go against what I say, and I can't really convince her or him to join your class or join your, to listen to your advice. So that's how I want to start at Consulting June, and I think so far it's very helpful. So some of the parents, they just invite their kids to join, and the kids are like, oh, this crazy teacher talk about, something that might be very helpful. And then most of the students told me like after they listened to what I told them, they feel like they changed a little bit the concept of their college vacation. And plus some of students, they're still in high school or before high school, they started getting ready. They have the sense about that. Like what I said before, college application is never about last several months. It's all about how you prepare yourself to be ready for the adult world, the university world, okay? So university is not the place that they want to train you to be someone. In my opinion, well, maybe that's too extreme, but they are more likely to choose someone who will be successful no matter what. And what they do, they collect those people together, and that's called alumni, right? And then they kind of like take advantages or take the credit from the students who will be successful no matter what. So you want to prepare yourself not only for college, but you want to use the college applications like this process to test you out, to see if you can be really competitive in the future when you already grow up. That's the purpose, okay? So I want you to really take this to be something like important, but not like something too overwhelming. Okay, you feel like, oh, I have to write a good essay no matter what. So you want to be realistic, plus you want to test you out. And the long preparation will be better than the short preparation, which means you really want to start early as possible. The other part I want to remind you guys, not only the students, but also parents, is do not, let's say, just be realistic. Do not put the pressure on the students. When I say pressure, don't put pressure on students. So some students or some parents like, hey, you are the person, like or enjoy putting pressure on the students. Why you told us like don't put the pressure? Well, it's very different because when I put the pressure on students, I want them to try their best. I want them to give out everything they have to make no regret. That's the pressure I want to give to them. Because I feel like this is only one time that you want to show yourself. You want to test yourself out, right? So there's no meaning for you to like, still hold your attitude like being laid back, right? You want to say like, oh, I want to enjoy life a little bit. That's not the moment. But when it's come to the school list, when it's come to the essay, you really want to be realistic. You know why? Because I see a lot of students struggling with the essays. Well, actually, they can't even come up with the essay for supplemental essay for the colleges. How possible they can survive in the college that they want to get in? So when you consider college, not only about a major, the reputation, the ranking, but also you want to consider about the ability, the capability that you have, right? So you want to write an essay and you want to compete with other people. For example, student A, student B. Student A, they can write essay like 10 seconds. They have a lot of ideas. They have a lot of story to tell. And then write, then they can edit, then they can write. They feel like so passionate about the essay. So in this situation, we help the student to get a good essay, published, or they can polished, and then we can present a very good one, right? And a student B kind of like no idea what to write. So we brainstorm with the students and we try so hard, but still nothing, cannot write anything. In this situation, I think you should change your school. You cannot be like, I want to get into school, but I cannot write an essay. You're going to figure out, well, you pay me, but I cannot do it, okay? I can't put an idea in your mind. You have to work together with me. I can trigger out something. I can block your potential. I can give you inspiration, but I can't put something in your mind. If it's not your story, not your feeling, I can't fake it. So that's something I really want parents to be realistic. Well, don't blame your kids, right? Don't blame them. Why you don't have a story? Why, the college asks you to write a fallback, a frustration, and you cannot write anything? Well, because he never experienced it, right? So that's the suggestion I always taught my students and parents when they are still when they're still under grade 11, well, when I say maybe grade 10, right? The earlier, the better. You want them to experience a little bit like drawback, a little bit like frustration, give them a little bit like the pressure. Let them to understand about life. Let them to experience something uncomfortable, because uncomfortable feeling can bring up some story, can bring up some frustration. And then that frustration, the experience of frustration can come up with some story, can come up with something on the paper. That's something we want expect when they come to the college application site, okay? And don't forget, when you write a college essay, it's all about who you are. And you have to be truly who you are and present yourself like nicely or fully. And that's needs a little bit strategy, okay? And we can talk a little bit more later when we talk about the essay part. All right, so let's summarize what we talked about today regarding the SAT subject test. First, SAT subject test is not like that hard, okay? It's less hard than the AP test. Second, the college required SAT subject test belongs to, can separate into 4 categories. One is required, that means you have to take it for sure. So you do want to check your college requirement to see if they require SAT subject or not. Some of them require 1, 2, some require more, and you don't want to go too far. You don't want to take 5 or more, 8 more to show like you are good in a test. That's not a smart way, okay? Save your energy for something else. So the second part is recommended. So if the school say they recommend you to take SAT subject, go for it. Only if you can get a good score, okay? So if you can't get a score, you focus all your energy on your GPA and SAT. Ignore the SAT subject, okay? If this is recommended. I do have students no SAT subject at all, still get a good school. So that's possible. But if you take it, please represent a good score, okay? Because recommend means they are welcome you to take like chances to show who you are, show your strength in the academic part, but only if you can do it. Otherwise, it's kind of like you show your weaknesses, right, by yourself. So the third part is called considered. So when they consider, that means they don't require you to submit any kind of essay test. And in this situation, you want to carefully think about your major, think about your academic part and performance, and then make the final decision. So I suggest you talk to your counselor or talk to your parents and evaluate yourself to see which part you belong to. So you want to have the, the best strategy for you to present yourself. Of course, the good part, right? So this is needed strategy when you try to present yourself and you want to show your strength part, and then you're not kind of like hide your weak point, but you kind of like, show more about your strong part. I think that's the smart way when you do the college application. Okay. All right. Hopefully I answer all those questions today. And if you have more questions, please send email to me, or you can call us phone number. Our phone number is 408-627. Okay, let me type it. 408-216-9109. I think that's the phone number. Let me repeat again. 408-216-9109. Okay. All right. So again, don't forget to Google 7EDU. Okay, 7 number EDU on the Google part. They have the website link. You click the website link, find the blog page, and on the blog page we have a lot of articles sharing with you. And read every one of them. I think you will learn a lot. Okay, that's all free resources. Please feel free to use them. All right. So thank you all for watching today. So we're gonna see you next Friday, and I'm going to prepare more topic. If you would like to hear more, please email us or call us so we can prepare that part and share with you. Hopefully that will help you for your kids and yourself for the application and the college prep part, okay? Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.